Assertiveness, Intro to Being Assertive 101. Standing up for yourself in the workplace. That's our topic today. My name is Dr. Elsie Coe. I'm the founder and CEO of Lead Physician Online Leadership Program for Physicians and the Chief Medical Officer of American Endovascular and Amputation Prevention. Go to our YouTube channel for our future videos and subscribe. Lead Physician is all about bringing passion, purpose, and potential back to our physicians. Today, I'm speaking with Dr. Adam Harrison. He's an expert on workplace bullying, and he coaches both individuals and leaders on it. So this is the best person I think to speak to today. And he also has a podcast on inspiring women leaders, which I found to be fascinating. Let me tell you a little bit more about him. He's a family physician, lawyer, ex-medical director. He's an international leadership coach all the way in England, and from the NHS Leadership Academy, and he's ICF trained. He's an expert in helping victims, like I said, in the workplace in terms of bullying, and he also helps organizational leaders improve their culture so that there's a lot more compassion and kindness. Okay, so let me just bring him on board. I'm so happy to have him here all the way from the other side of the world. Hi, Adam. Thank you so much for being here.
Hi, Elsie. My pleasure. Thanks so much for having me. Thank you.
Yeah, I saw your podcast and some of your blogs and what you've written. Tell us a little bit about in the workplace, because I found this to be interesting. Your description, being assertive versus aggressive, and we talk about microaggression versus macroaggression. Bullying, when we think about it, is like kids bullying, but this is a lot more than that. Please explain to us a little bit about this.
Sure. This is a huge area. I think there's a couple of distinctions really. There's the perception of assertiveness and aggressiveness, and then there's the sort of actual conduct itself. So some people will look at someone who's being assertive and label them as being aggressive. And I think this particularly happens when women are being assertive. If a woman is doing exactly the same as a man is doing in the same situation, oftentimes the woman is described as being aggressive.
That's right.
And the man will be assertive. So I think it's really important to look at, and that in itself is a form of bullying. But in terms of the conduct itself, assertiveness is a very sort of calm and gentle and steady and focused and clear way of communicating what your needs are, while maintaining your boundaries and showing respect for the other person. Whereas aggression is where the adrenaline and the cortisol and everything has taken over, and you've turned into, quite a shouty, aggression can be verbal or physical, can't it? So, usually the stress has taken over the amygdala response and whatever, whereas assertiveness is controlled, I think.
Right. And I think this is an important topic, and you kind of, and we're just doing such an introductory and tiny piece of what you teach already. I thought we'd go through not only just from the individual level, how to deal with a bully, even if it's microaggression. And then number two, how do leaders help foster the right kind of culture that promotes compassion and not the bullying. So let's start with the individual part. How to deal with a bully. And I know we spoke about this already. So can we go one by one on what you told me before? Physically projecting confidence, you said.
Yes, sure. So, I mean, this is more the sort of assertiveness framework. I think for an individual to deal with a bully, and here we're talking about the kind of schoolyard bullying, that kind of aggressive, the shaming, berating, belittling, that very much overt kind of bullying, rather than the covert undermining, gaslighting, that kind of stuff. It does require some confidence, to be fair, and the more you do it and the more practice you get, the better. But the first thing is you need to kind of calm yourself down. You don't want to kind of engage in a battle, so you need to take a deep breath. You need to calmly advise the perpetrator that you're feeling bullied.
And so you're talking about the verbally too, verbally projecting confidence.
Yeah, so absolutely. So you need to sort of calm yourself, so you're not kind of like drawn into it. There's the physical and verbal ways of projecting confidence. So you literally, when we say metaphorically, you're standing up to the bully, you are actually having an upright posture and standing up to the bully, and you're looking them in the eyes, and you're maintaining that focused eye contact. And then verbally, it's advising them that you're feeling bullied and stating this is not okay, but doing it in a calm, clear, concise way, and advising them to stop behaving that way. And I think, you need to be consistent in your body language and your voice, pitch and volume and tone and all of that, and the words you're saying. So you can't be kind of limp and not upright, but using strong terms. The whole thing needs to flow.
Right.
And then, ultimately you need to advise them, if, because they may not stop. You may do all this and they may not stop. And you just say, if you don't stop, and I've done this with patients and senior colleagues, I will walk away, or I will put the phone down, because I'm not tolerating this.
Yeah, yeah, I saw that. I saw I was just at the airport and I saw a passenger standing, going to the other side of the counter where the flight, what do you call it, assistant person for the baggage was saying, "Please, sir, do not step over the line." And the guy was being very aggressive, like a bully, like what you're
Yeah,
saying.
yeah,
It's verbally saying the right things, in a calm fashion. And
yeah,
then
yeah.
your third thing you said was
Yeah,
being
that kind of
consistent.
the congruency, really. So it's no point in kind of like standing upright, maintaining eye contact, and then just saying, "Oh yeah, it's okay, you can do what you like" to me. You you have to be consistent in the way you're physically portraying yourself, and the words that you're using, and the tone of the way you're speaking, and so on.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, it's easier said than done, and it takes practice in building this confidence.
It
Can
really
you,
does.
like, I can't even imagine, like, when you're in that moment, there's a lot of emotions.
Yeah,
How can you be physically present and think about how your posture is and verbally say the right things when you're
yeah,
emotionally, like, pissed off or
yeah.
scared?
Well, it's really hard to do that kind of thing when your amygdala has hijacked you, yeah, and you're in fight or flight mode. So the first thing you need to do is, like, that's why it's like, take that deep breath. You know you've been triggered. We all know the situations where we've been triggered. Take the deep breath. Center yourself, kind of like, concentrate. It's a sort of distraction, really. Concentrate where your navel is, or your heartbeat. Maintain those deep breaths, concentrate, your feet on the floor, you're grounded, and then that gives you that time to kind of get yourself together, and the thinking space as well. And if
Love it.
someone's kind
Yeah.
of berating you, they're shouting in your face, it doesn't matter. You've got 30 seconds. Let them shout, and then it's like, this is not okay.
Yep.
This
You
is not
know, I
appropriate.
I use a lot of mantras, not even, it's like being intentional in that moment and getting into the habit of
Mm,
being able to draw that into your mind so
yeah,
that you can react in that respond in that way instead of react. And I use mantras when when I feel I'm so much more self-aware. I think with leadership skill, that's what helps
yeah,
so much
yes,
in your ability to lead us, being that self-awareness piece. I think it's beautiful. Thank you so much. And talk about on the other side, the leadership aspect. How do you become, how you're an expert in bringing this to an organization
yeah,
and developing the skill. There are like three big things that you talk about that you told me about.
yeah.
How do you promote the a right workplace environment, the right culture? And you told me active listening is number one.
Yeah, active listening, and there's an even deeper level which people can look up, called generative listening. But
Mm,
really being deeply present, and the other person knowing fully that you are listening, and that you're very, very present, and that's just the most fundamental communication skill you can have. And we all know that adage of, God or the universe, depending on your belief system, gave us two ears and one mouth so we can listen twice as often and twice as much as we talk. So for me, that's the first key thing.
okay. And then number two, you said kindness and compassion.
Yeah, so I did quite a lot of talks around the benefits of kindness in the workplace, and especially in the healthcare workplace, and kind leadership. And it's not to be underestimated. It's actually quite easy. It's a simple thing, just to be kind and pleasant and generous, and give people compliments and be inclusive and all of these things. The only caveat I have to that is that some people aren't necessarily confident about giving other people compliments and things like that. And these are some of the things that I work on. But certainly kindness and compassion, which I must say has to begin with self-kindness and self-compassion.
Yes, yes,
So
absolutely. How could you be kind to create that for others if you can't create it in your own life?
absolutely, for sure, for
And
sure.
number three, you said emotional regulation.
Yeah, I mean,
And that's kind of what we are talking about before.
yeah, absolutely. This is one of the key parts of Daniel Goleman's emotional intelligence in leadership model. Really, obviously, the others are self-awareness, which is important, very, very important for leaders, and empathy. But to be able to again take that step back, take that deep breath, calm yourself down. Don't be reactive. Don't kind of think of the first thing that comes into your head and start shouting, because we don't know. There may be a really, really good explanation for the way someone has kind of behaved or why they've said what they've said. We don't know what has happened to that person before they came to work, So
Yes.
we shouldn't make assumptions, and we just need to keep our emotions in check. But again,
Yeah.
skills
Thank
that
you.
can be learned, that take practice.
That's right. Thank you so much. I'm sure there's so much more to this. You're just giving us the tip of the iceberg right now.
Mm.
And I just want to show some of the places where people can reach you, if that's okay. I know you're all over social media and you love it. Uh, Dr. Adam Harrison
It's a
on LinkedIn,
necessary
Facebook,
evil.
and Instagram. When people can really, it's so nice. We didn't have this ability in the past, but now we can really
Yeah,
learn. I feel like I'm learning just by interviewing people like you. So you're on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram as Dr.
yeah.
Adam Harrison, and also on YouTube as Dr. Adam Physician Coach, with a
Hmm.
lot of videos that you're creating, and
Yeah.
also the podcast Inspiring
Mm.
Women Leaders .buzzsprout.com, which I think is amazing. And I just want to show your website, and you talk about boy, there's a lot of information, all these quotes too on this, in this training program that you have. And if I could read some of these quotes that you have here: when I was being bullied at work as a junior surgeon and a newly qualified family doctor, I dreaded going to work. I used to
Yeah.
struggle to sleep the night before, and I'd even panic about it on Saturday in advance of work on a Monday when I had the weekend off. What fresh hell would the perpetrator unleash on me when I was next there? That's horrible. I mean, I can't even
Yeah.
imagine that the story that you might have to share with us. Um, and
But
so thank you so much for being here. Do you have any words about those quotes?
they were tough times, but I had to go through them to be where I am now, to be able to help others. And I just wanted my kind of take homes would be kindness, 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 kindness. That's what we we need that in our lives, and that at work as well as at home. And for organizations to live by your values, right? So organizations have these values plastered all over their websites. These are our organizational values. We have this, corporate responsibility, yada yada. But how many of them actually, on a day-to-day, on the shop floor, actually live by those values? If an organization is saying it's kind, I want to see that kindness, percolate down through the whole organizations, from the C-suite down to the shop floor, and be
Yes.
evident wherever you're working that there is kindness. Otherwise, I'm sorry, they're not living by those values.
Yeah. So thank you so much for that. Thank you for being here today from all the way across the other world. But I know you're an international coach. So reach out to
Yeah.
Dr. Adam Harrison. Here's his website, dradamharrison.com. My name is Dr. Elsko. Thank you so much for listening, everybody. Have a happy Sunday. Reach out to us, reach out to coaches. It doesn't have to be me. It doesn't have to be him, but reach out if you need help. But if you have a topic on physician leadership, info@drlcco.com to reach me so we can get this out. And this is our website, leadphysician.org. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Adam, for being here. I appreciate it.
Thanks so much, Elsie. My pleasure.